What's up? Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads, and check out the links posted in the description down below as part of the channel. Thank you. So what I want to talk about here today is the Haslab G.I. Joe Classified Series G.I. Joe Assault Copter Dragonfly. It is absurd to think that this is only available to 5 countries in Europe, the UK, America, Canada, and some Asian countries as far as I know, and that is it. This is a global business in Hasbro, and they can't figure out how to ship this item and let people back it from different countries than what have already been stated. There are independent retailers and independent toy makers that are able to send stuff to various countries without any issue at all. And this multi-billion-dollar company cannot figure out the logistics of being able to send an item like this from Hasbro Europe, or if you want to even go with it because it's closer to Ireland, Hasbro UK to Ireland to allow people to back it. This is an ongoing problem for the last 3 years. Now, as I said beforehand, when it comes to these Haslabs, the Haslabs were supposed to be dream items. So, you got the 3 3/4 inch sail barge. A lot of people looked at that and said, yes, dream item. You got the Transformers War for Cybertron Unicron. Yes, a lot of people said dream item. Absolutely massive. Then they started to do things like the Haslab Sentinel, and people said, sure, okay, the price is alright, so we'll go for that. Galactus, the same. People said, sure, okay. I don't know why we can't see these on store shelves. Okay, obviously they're big, but here's the thing. They're selling Transformers that are Titans on store shelves. So what makes the likes of Galactus or the Sentinel any different? Now, I know people will chime in and say, well, they're bigger, there's more parts and whatever. Sure, I understand that. But to me, I think it was absolutely possible that they could have been on store shelves. I somewhat understand why Unicron couldn't be. I somewhat understand as well too why the sail barge couldn't be. But since then, every Haslab that has come out, I've felt that that could be at general retail. Now, what do I think about this Haslab and indeed the His Tank? I think these could be at general retail. G.I. Joe is a popular brand, people like it. And I'm just going to show you this here. This is only from a couple of years ago. Now, granted, it's from the disastrous Disney sequel trilogy of Star Wars. But here is a Star Wars TIE Fighter. Now, it's amazing to me that they didn't decide to repaint this and put out an old trilogy version of it to gain back the money that they probably lost on this one. Madness, that one. But this was out on store shelves. So this was a 6-inch scaled TIE Fighter with a 6-inch figure, and the MSRP was $169.99. It was then discounted to $99.99, and some people will say it was discounted even further to $20 wherever they were. This is what the Haslab is really about. It is about the company trying to get maximum profits out of these items and indeed be able to sit on the money for a year to gain interest on that money. Because I'll tell you what I saw and still do see in various groups, and I think you're right to do it, but I think that a lot of these people, particularly in the likes of the American, have told you that they lurk in these message boards and these groups and they act friendly with you, but they realise what is going on and they're able to deliver that information back to the company. They see you on these message boards when the new Transformers Titan comes out and you saying, I'm going to wait for that to hit discount, I'm going to wait for that to hit clearance. I think you're right, because some of them look like complete junk. Like that latest one there, that Nemesis, I couldn't spend anywhere near the money they're asking for that, because it just doesn't look worth it. Same with the likes of Metroplex, and same with the likes of the Commander class figures that they put out. They're over €100 here in Ireland. They're not worth that, not at all. And now they're putting this item out, and rightfully so. Some people have compared apples to oranges in the past, and myself included. I said, well, there you go, you've got the likes of the Engine of Vengeance there that is asking for over $100 more. I think in and around, probably when you factored in the likes of the taxes and shipping and that, more than what McFarlane was asking for a 7-inch scaled Batwing. Now, and people are right to do it, they're right to look at this and say, well, hang on here for a second, Ninja. This is the Dragonfly. It's coming with lights. It's coming with Wild Bill. It's coming with a stand. It's coming with extra pieces. It's also potentially coming with 3 more figures. That is definitely, this here a better deal than what you're getting from McFarlane for the Batwing. No shame in saying that at all. And that's true. It is a better deal. But to me, there's no reason why this can't be on a store shelf. I looked at the Dragonfly, and I tell you what, when I'm looking at this here, this clear stand, and the fact that it's only half a stand really, I think that this Dragonfly is going to be light. I think you're going to see a lot of hollow plastic on the inside of it, and I think you're going to see more of a shell. I don't see why this needs to be a Haslab. I fully believe that this could be a pre-order item, even at this price, and I think people would still buy it. People are interested in putting vehicles into the line now. And why is it that it has to be behind a paywall of Hasbro Pulse, and indeed then limited even further for people? You know, I look at a couple of other YouTubers that are out there, and one individual in particular I like watching is Uncle Tim's Ransom Reviews. Head is very much so screwed on as to what's going on. And he was talking about the fact of this being a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, basically, with this Haslab. And the bigger picture is this. The fact of the matter is that these companies are able to lock this behind a digital storefront. So that, for an awful lot of people out there that are listening and understanding what's going on, that's going to be a problem going forward. Because if you wanted to purchase an item like this, now you have to purchase it in a cashless way. You can't do that with cash. So what happens now, and this is what I think is going to happen with G.I. Joe in particular, because they're starting to do it here across this side of the world, they're starting to move all of this product behind Hasbro Pulse. So there's no cash involved. If you're that way inclined, I know some people would say, well, I go to the shops anyway and I use my card. But Hasbro Pulse UK have severely limited the amount of allocations that people have gotten. And this is all of the websites in the UK, by the way. Ireland isn't in the UK, I'm just letting you know that, by the way. They have limited the allocation of G.I. Joe to an awful lot of these stores. Some of these stores can't even get them anymore. That Hasbro Pulse UK are the only ones that are selling G.I. Joe. Now there's one store here in Ireland that has an affiliation with Hasbro Pulse, and they are able to do it. They're not able to offer Haslabs though, which is very odd to me. But however, you have a situation at hand now where this line is increasingly moving behind Hasbro Pulse, and I see videos that are out there from an American point of view that are saying that these items are very difficult to get now, particularly ones that are in high demand. You have another issue that has happened in the last while with Hasbro, which is the quality control. What's the quality control going to be like on this item? Like, we haven't even got the Hiss tank in hand yet. And when I say we, I wasn't able to back it because I'm in Ireland and you don't have that. I'm saying as a G.I. Joe fan and a classified fan. People haven't got that in their hands yet. And what we've seen with Hasbro over the last while have been QC problems and errors that have been made in these Haslabs. The sail barge, from what I understand, didn't seem to have problems. Haslab Unicron did. It had an incorrectly coloured maw, and it had incorrectly coloured hands and bottom teeth. They showed something completely different for a large portion of the time, and that came out. They didn't address it at all. Haslab Victory Saber has had multiple problems. And if you haven't seen those already, some very serious problems that are out there. Mold defects, the whole lot. Figures missing because it went behind this windowless packaging. Then you had the Sentinel. The Sentinel's knees didn't function correctly, and over time, according to a lot of people that are out there, that is going to now fail. The knees are just going to buckle eventually. Galactus seems sturdy, but the faceplates don't fully push into Galactus, and these are things that I've been seeing online from people. So to me, I'm looking forward to seeing people with the Hiss tank in hand and seeing if there are any QC issues, because G.I. Joe Classified series has been notorious over the last year or so for having a lot of issues. Gummy arms, gummy legs, arms that are falling off. And this isn't just unique to G.I. Joe. This has been happening in the Power Rangers Lightning Collection line too. That has fallen off in terms of quality control. So I would say this, be very wary as to what you're going to get here with this here, because whilst it looks good, and I'm sure people are very happy to support it, and again, if you're supporting it, that's cool. But it sends a bigger message to these companies, I think, when these things aren't supported, like the likes of the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider. People for sure are feeling like this is a good deal right now, because what is it now, a G.I. Joe classified figure in Ireland now is in and around €30. So that's looking at about €90 if you were to get the 3 figures that are potentially on offer right now. And people are looking at that and saying, well, that's not too bad of a deal. It's not available in Ireland though. So what do you think about that? Do you think that this is worth that money? Do you think it's worth $274.99 plus your taxes and shipping? Now this funded in a day, so people are clearly excited about this. And that's a good thing if you're a fan of the brand. But that says to me then that there are over 12,130 people that are in the world right now in specific regions. Because like I said, this is region locked now, this item, to certain places that would buy this. So why couldn't this be a mass retail item? Why couldn't this be an item then for other retailers if you want to go down that road and say, oh well, you know, it's going to be too big, it won't go on store shelves, they won't buy them. Why don't you open a pre-order for it? And why don't you make that available to everyone? Why don't you make that available to fan channels? Why don't you make that available on Amazon? Because they deliver. You know what I mean? So fair play to them for funding in a day. Like I said, 2 Star Wars items and a Marvel Legends item didn't fund. And 2 G.I. Joe items now have funded in a day. That says to me that G.I. Joe is way more popular than the company think it is. So what do you get here? Well, you get the helicopter. The helicopter looks okay, looks good. It has lights on it. People are going a little bit crazy about that. Oh my god, it has a couple of LEDs in it, and they're trying to justify the fact that it's $274.99. I don't think it's worth that. I didn't think the McFarlane Batmobile nor the plane, but I suppose the Batmobile being $60, that was a decent price, but it does look very cheap. Let's be honest about that. But the Batwing being $250, still think that's really high. So this being $274, I still think that that's very high. Considering when you looked at that TIE Fighter was less. And that looks way bigger than this. You've got a number of items that are here, the effects and all, yeah, sure, that's cool. You've got Wild Bill here, who was an all-new sculpt according to them, with a hairpiece. I don't like these hair pieces, I'll be honest with you on that. I would rather have a swappable head. If they want to put a hat and have it be fixed on him and not be removable, just do a swappable head. Stop with this hairpiece stuff. That's a terrible idea and it doesn't look good in my opinion. It also comes down with his 2 cowboy, we should say, boomsticks, shall we, on this? You know, I'm surprised that they didn't say blasters when they were on the stream. That really would have been something, because they do like to refer to them like that. Comes with this stand. Stand looks cool. It looks okay. Now, like I said, if this is like half a stand that's very hollow and it's holding up the helicopter, it would suggest to me that the helicopter is going to be probably pretty light. Here you have the helicopter now, and it is using some of the effects. That remains to be seen too as well. How sturdy is that going to be? Is it going to be strong enough? You've got a panel here. The panel looks decent as well. Like, it looks good. That's the thing I want to say. It does look good. Is it $274 though? I don't think so. But I do think that these companies now are looking at the fact that they can sit in this money for interest reasons, and that they can get the full amount for these items rather than hitting clearance and some stores potentially sending them back or complaining to them that they couldn't sell them and someone gets a loss out somewhere. The Wild Bill looks great. Now you'll probably see a cartoon accurate version of this coming later on down the line. You will more than likely, I would say, see an awful lot of these parts be reused as well. So a lot of the time people are looking at these and they're saying, well, this is going to come out eventually. People are saying that Wild Bill is very much so linked in to the Dragonfly, and I agree with you. There is a point to be made on that one there, and what good would be Wild Bill without the Dragonfly? I see that point. But do I think it should be region locked and locked behind Hasbro Pulse? No, I don't. I think that that's a terrible idea. I don't understand how that functions as a company. I don't know who's making that decision. Another thing I thought about it, they're talking about the length of the helicopter, but look how skinny it looks as well. I think it looks very thin. Now I know people will say, well, that's what it looked like in the show. Sure. But do I think that is worth that much? A lot of people are pointing out the likes of the other figures that are out there, Fortnite and various other brands that are able to do similar items and they're much cheaper. And I agree, like Uncle Tim's Rants and Reviews was talking about a drone. I think he was talking about it about $50, I think it was. It lights up, it spins, you're able to fly it. Like, if you were saying that to me, if you were saying that this could actually fly and you were able to use a remote control with it, I'd say, yeah, maybe you could see it. You know, I could see the price for that, but not at this price. So let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think this is worth it? What do you think of the fact that Hasbro Pulse is region locking these items? Why do you think that Hasbro Pulse hasn't opened these items up to the entire world? Why do you think that they're keeping them behind certain areas? I mean, that seems a bit counterintuitive in my opinion. It seems like you would want the most amount of people to get involved in with this as possible. Like, you have the Marvel Legends Engine of Vengeance that failed. And it failed because they didn't account for anybody worldwide. They were like, oh no, forget about those people. And then in the last minute, they tried to open up to more territories. And at that point in time, it was done. This has done its business within 24 hours. It looks on track to get to the 13,000 backer count for the first figure. I think the next one then is at 16,000. So the 13,000 backer count figure is a Knife Force Ripcord. You know, you're going to get that again in a repainted version that's going to be more accurate to the TV show later on. And you're going to get 2 more figures. So I don't see why this couldn't have been a retail item. I really don't. And I think a lot of people out there that are making excuses for the company and saying, yeah, no, they have to do it this way and it's too big. I think that's all codswallop. I think it's nonsense. I think you're talking complete and utter nonsense when it comes to that there. And you're backing a company that's able to put out 2 feet tall Transformers. I don't see why they can't do it with this. Like I said beforehand, and like these companies are able to do, they have the logistics behind it to be able to package these things in certain ways that you can connect these things. And I don't think that this is necessarily something that you have to stick behind a region-locked website. It just doesn't make sense. It's very counterintuitive. But maybe that's part of the plan. Maybe it is something that this company is moving towards because, like I said, when you have the majority of this product only available from this site and retailers can't get it, that's not good. And it means then that these people want you to be just spending money direct with them, and people would say, oh yeah, what's the hassle in that? Well, here's the thing. You're not spending cash first and foremost, and second of all, then you're beholden into this place that doesn't want to acknowledge QC problems, and it certainly doesn't want to acknowledge when there is an issue or a major issue. So you're gazumped when it comes to that. I don't know about you, but I'm a fan of using cash. I'm a fan of being able to walk into the local retailer. These are people that I know, and they are people that will look after you. Whereas this company here has proven and has a proven track record of not looking after fans when it comes to serious issues. I mean, I had a video, a couple of them, that got into the thousands of views when it came to Unicron, and Hasbro never addressed it. And they're not going to. They're not going to address any of this. They cancelled the Haslab Victory Saber that was on pre-order from an awful lot of people in Europe from Zavvi on Christmas Eve, and they haven't addressed it, and it's June. Nothing. Zero. They left down an awful lot of people across Europe because that's where people in Europe were able to back these Haslabs beforehand. They were able to back it through Zavvi with the Sentinel, Galactus and Victory Saber, and people got stumped on Galactus and Victory Saber, and nothing since then. This is also a company, let's be clear, that is looking to support as much as possible when it comes to all of this woke stuff too. So I'm going to lose no real sleep when it comes to this. But I do understand, and I am hearing, and this is why I do videos like this, is because people reach out to me and ask me my thoughts on this. And all I'm doing on this channel is giving my thoughts, giving my opinions. And when you region lock items like this, well, I tell you what it does with me. It just makes me more interested in supporting independent toy makers. I'm seeing some good ones that are out there, seeing some excellent work that's being done. And these guys are hungry for the money. And I mean that in a good sense. I'm seeing what Spiro Toys are doing with Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. I'm seeing what Valaverse is doing with his line Action Force. I'm seeing what Savage Crucible are doing with their line. I'm seeing what, Defenders of Eden are doing with their line. Recently just wrapped up a good Kickstarter there. I'm seeing what Almighty Legends are doing with their line. And it's all good stuff, and it's all stuff that I'm saying, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give that a shot and see how that goes, because those guys are interested in sending it my way. I'm not talking about any sort of sponsorship or anything like that. Wouldn't be interested in that personally myself. I'd like to support these things and give you my genuine opinion on them. But these companies that are independents are able to send this stuff worldwide, but this company that's $1 billion company can't figure that out. Something's wrong there. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads. Check out the links posted in the description down below.